Okay, we did some negatives, so now we got to do some positives. Kind of giving the information of what's what. As you see, these little narrow spots. It also has the piece out in the water there. It's kind of neat for the road stop sign. Then it's got Japan is definitely an island. Welcome to the Eternal Cyclist. Enjoy the adventure. We're now in Japan. Okay, it's getting sunset time. I've set up the hammock here on this back road between factory areas. Looks like the one factory's closed, so it should be good here in between the trees. Got to do the new strap system because I broke the other one, so we'll go on from there. But at least we got a camping spot for the night, and that's all we need. So this is going to close up this video on this day because so much footage on going across those islands, hopping, and now it'll be till the next section, which is the big one, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Thanks for watching. You see here it gets narrow on spots, it gets this, it gets that. So like I say, you got obstacles. So is it worthwhile riding on these sidewalks? Big drop-offs, different things which make you have to slow down. But versus the road, then see on that side of the road, suddenly the bike path starts again, so you got to go skip back and forth. Okay, another thing that in Japan is kind of annoying is as you see all the little islands out here. Okay, yesterday I was on probably that island there. I'm actually going to cycle to that island there, but to get to that island I've got to go about 40 kilometers that way, then 40 or 50 kilometers over 3 or 4 bridges and stuff, and back around to there. I could have taken the ferry across, but if you take the ferry across, you miss all the scenery and all the good stuff. So in some ways it's just normal, but in other ways it's kind of annoying. The kid I met yesterday, he just took the ferry straight across because he's cutting on time and that. So that one there. We did some negatives, so now we got to do some positives. It has some great roadside stop rest place. Can you camp at them all? That's a 50-50, whether or not you can or you can't. But it's got these beautiful little rest stops everywhere. Okay, and another thing, if you look across the street, see the bikers riding by, but my bicycle's parked there, non-locked. You couldn't do that in Europe if you tried, or America. Your bike would be stolen within a few minutes, or at least stuff off it. Next thing, yeah, most of these rest stops have toilets. A lot of these toilets, you can get drinking water. Yes, and drinking, the tap water in Japan is drinkable. It's a little chlorinated, tastes a little funny, but it's okay. It's good for cooking and good for a little bit of drinking, save you some money. Next thing is a lot of these bathrooms, that's where you're going to find your, again, a positive, negative, your electricity to charge your power banks and such, because basically most small restaurants and stuff or little places don't have electricity, but these usually have electricity with the nice heated toilets I talked about, and therefore you can get your electricity and charge up your phones and stuff. Okay, the nice thing right now is that daytimes are about 10 o'clock or so in the morning, warming up enough to get into shorts and t-shirts weather. So biking is good until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so long as there's no rain. Speaking of rain, I'm going to book into a hostel tonight at a city because I want to see a couple sites around the city for one. But second reason is it's supposed to start raining tonight. Then, because as you see from my previous video, when I went to one of the islands and it started to rain and I was doing bridge hopping, the scenery wasn't good. It wasn't so pleasant. It would have been such a beautiful fit place had it been sunny. So I'm going to stick out the other rain day, which is supposed to be Saturday. It's supposed to rain all day, so I'm going to also take that off. The nice thing is I'm a little older, so I don't want to suffer as much as I used to, or that I can afford to not suffer as much. I get my pension nowadays, so those are helping. But otherwise, yeah, it's just a change. But you'll see, I still camp 80 to 90% of the time. So it's not like I'm doing it for that. Cleanup days and some bad weather days, mostly when I hit the hostels, or if it's an area where there's a lot of stuff to see and I need to leave the bike safely. This video is going to kind of seem like a bitch video, but it's not. It's just kind of giving the information of what's what. As you see these little narrow spots here, there's a lot of times where it either kicks you onto the road or there is no pass like on the other side of the road, and you have to wait for the cars to pass before you can get off the bike path and this and that. It wouldn't exactly be great for a trike because the spaces are extremely narrow. I can barely get through, and then down here would be where the tire of the trike would fall off the side. So some of these trails you'd have to stick more to the road with the trike than doing this on and off the sidewalks, which is a little bit safer, even though you don't see much traffic at sometimes. And see a spot like this where they've marked it for this. See how you're going to get your trike past this. I can barely fit my bike past this. They've put the signage. They can't put it in the road, so they put it in the path. And just to be fair, it is beautiful along the paths and this and that. Like I say, they are a little rough, they are a little that, but here we go again. How would you get your trike through here? I mean, my bike barely fits on this. There's a drop off here. There's that there. I'm not even going to try to go on this with my bike. So now I have to back up, come to here, drop my bike down onto the street. Yes, you can ride on the road, and a lot of places you're forced to ride on the road. So, but you just never know what is going to be what. And then you get to sit, as we see here, narrow spaces. So, yeah, Japan is different for bike riding. Great, good, bad, and different. Another instance is like here. Look at this little green space. The market green for the bike. Up and down this little stuff. And then you're going to go across the street. And it's going to be a horrible little spot. But I'm going to take a picture of the Buddha here. Now this beautiful temple. Got a good shot of it. Zoom in. And then take my photo. Okay, one of the rules in Japan for biking is you got to have good brakes. The police can actually check your brakes and make sure they're okay for what you're doing. The reason behind this is two reasons. As you see ahead of me, short, steep little hills with up hills and downs, which keep a lot of speed, and you may have to stop fast. Second thing is if you're riding in the city and people walk in front of you, again, you might have to stop fast. So therefore, the police want to make sure you're able to stop properly. Another thing, if you're on one of the designated bike routes, from time to time you'll see these blue markers reminding you that you're on the path and how far it is to the next city or site or something. Okay, way off in the distance, you can see one of the bridges is reasons I'm going to cross. You can barely see it because of the haze. Lots of places they're working on the roads, so you gotta go around and try to do the best you can to do these things. You get some beautiful little fishing villages and views along the way here as you ride this area. And then of course there's the shipbuilding yard, which is very interesting to take a look at. But of course the bike trail itself is lots of road works here. But the interesting thing is also one side of the road you get the train coming, the next side you get the boats and the ferries, and you cut across and over, and there they are. Okay, every once in a while you'll find a little beach park or something along the way. It has these nice paths, goes to the beach. You can see over there, nice beach. The thing is, bicycles are restricted here because of the amount of people that walk here, so you can't take your bike around here. But it is a beautiful place if you don't mind parking and taking a few minutes and taking a look over and watching the ships and other things go by and just enjoying it. Ferries here go all over because a lot of times the ferry is definitely the shortest route between two locations here because of bridges and other things. An interesting little bit of a different shrine. It also has the piece out in the water there. I'm gonna walk up this shrine just because it's a little different again. You see the little stuff there behind me. There was another piece. Has a little box here. Has the multitudes here. And the one thing is, you'll see this looks like a cat. Looks like a cat again. And then coming up through here, this one, beautiful trees. This has the cats. As you zoom in, you can see it's got the little cats. Then as we go up a little farther, we have the dog. This side has one dog. Looks like a dog. And a dog on this side. And then the little temple. So, very nice. With the cherry blossoms and everything else. Beautiful. Another thing that gets a little confusing is you're going to see all the sight things here. All the little ferry boat things here. But you got to remember that sometimes they've got bicycles, sometimes they don't. Your ticket offices, which we showed before, sometimes you're lucky you can pay or not. Then it says recommended routes for biking and different stages, so they have a lot of stuff to offer. Japan is definitely an island. I just find some of the shrines to be a little bit more impressive than some of the other ones. This one's got some beautiful lotus blossoms, or I mean cherry blossoms here. Then this is right on the side of the road. And it crosses over the main building. It has again where you're supposed to wash your hands. Talks about it before you go into the temple. The 3 steps you're supposed to do. Nice little dragon. Beautiful cherry blossoms makes it really beautiful and nice. And this one has a completely different style roof, old Japanese style. It's just beautiful. Sometimes you're allowed to go around the back side as well. This one is a very beautiful temple. I'm not always sure what all the different things are, but it's definitely a beautiful little temple. You can tell it's Year of the Horse because a lot of people have put the horses up here. Cats is another popular favorite. Rabbit year, dragon year, all the different years. So you basically put your horoscope up there. And that's the beauty of it. And I'm not sure why it has a number counter, but it's there. It's a beautiful, beautiful temple. Okay, there's the sign of the big bridge, the first bridge that brings to the first set of islands, and then goes across 3 or 4 islands until you reach the main big island out there. And then the big island, take north. The setup is kind of neat for the road stop sign, then it's got the countdown, everything else. But a lot of work here. Alrighty, that's going to be the bridge. We'll be taking the day after tomorrow because tonight it's supposed to start raining, then all day tomorrow. So we're taking a break in this city, gonna enjoy the sun of the city and do some walking around, park the bike here in a little bit at the hostel, and show the bike will get a rest, and I'll get to do some strolling along these pathways that I right now really can't take the bike on. And take a look right at the hostel. This is the upstairs common room, typical Japanese site, sliding rice paper doors. My bed's downstairs. Okay, This again is a place for all the garbage cans. This is a refrigerator we get to use, books, maps and stuff. The kitchen has most everything need, hot stove, that's microwave, everything, so I'll be able to cook meals tomorrow and take the rain day. Oh, it'll be nice. Gas canisters up there, and typical Japanese seating. And the dorms are typical, constructed of wood, privacy curtains, small mats, and little things. And I'll put my bags back here. The bike is downstairs, not there, but in the hallway. And I guess simply just put in the hallway, out of the way of people, and closed door, and that's that. And out to the city we go. A little restaurant next door, has a few things, and that's it. That's our hostel.
Just like and subscribe to us.